From the Middle is a founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the Middle after dark over here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 83 of From the Middle, and Happy New Year. I am one of your hosts, Corey Hubble, along with my brother Dylan Hubble and our co-star, co-host extraordinaire, Kendall Alala, again with the most enthusiastic person in comics, Michael Watson. Mike joined us for episode 45, and we are super excited to have him back. We're just going to have some fun geek culture conversation, and then Mike's got some new endeavors and things he's excited about that we'll share with you guys a little bit later. But thank you for joining us. If you are joining us for the first time, we are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives, with a point of view that's somewhere in the middle, talking about all things related to being husbands and fathers and guys just living in the middle of the USA, one of the flyover states, right, guys?
That's right.
As we
feel the
finally
need to
know
redo
ourselves.
our thing. Yeah.
That's what's up. I like the comment that your voice is smooth like butter, man. That intro, like you were like, I'm about to do the intro real quick, and like it just changed. Like
Corey's voice is otherwise very squeaky, and he has a stutter, and there's something about hitting that record button, man, that just
it's that magic silk just comes on out.
You know me, guys. As soon as I get that white ball in front of my face, I turn completely. Oh wait. So anyway, Mike, it is so good to be with you again. How was your holiday, man?
My holiday was pretty awesome. It's it's 95% off for the kids. I can't wait till they move out so it can be back to me and myself and stuff with my wife. But they got some cool stuff. My wife and I made sure to really stick with actually their Christmas lists, what they wanted instead of what we wanted to get them. That led to a lot of success.
sure.
New Year's was good. We just hung out. We had a couple people over. My sister-in-law and my father-in-law came over. But that was it. We had tacos that night. We're a big taco family. We love making tacos. But didn't do much of anything, did some drawing, kind of just really relaxed. I wanted the break time to take as long as possible, but it was fun, very relaxing, fun, good times.
You say you have those kids to buy gifts for, but if our viewers are watching on YouTube, like you really need to wait for those kids to get out of the house before you buy yourself some toys.
Come on, man. How much your Amazon cart was what's behind you on the shelves?
Actually, you'd be rather surprised. A lot of this stuff in my whole studio was branded and got back in college.
All right.
And I've been building up on it. Like I've been collecting the Marvel Legends figures, the movie versions.
Yeah.
And I had to stop. I had to take a break because I needed to get the Christmas presents. But on the 27th, I was in all my Facebook toy groups. I'm looking for these toys. My kids have been taken care of. Let's get back to the real business.
Oh, that's awesome. For those of you that didn't catch our chat with Michael on episode 45, Mike and I went to college together at Columbus College of Art and Design. So we're artist buddies and geeks, and he had a lot of those figures even then, if I remember correctly. So,
hey, man, if you're going to college, I recommend becoming an RA. I love the job. Do not get me wrong, but that free room and board, that free food, that free laundry, that free electric and water and all that stuff, that is nothing to shake a stick at when you're in college, baby.
That's the way to do it. Mike, how do you guys, we talked about this in a previous episode. How do you guys handle the Santa situation with your kids? What do you guys do? Is he just a part of the season, or do you go all out with it? What do you do?
he's a part of the season. That dude's been getting less and less credit as we've been going on, man. He's starting to work my nerves. Of course, the oldest already knows what it is, and the middles are kind of figuring it out. But we still got one little guy, Miles, and Santa's pile has become less and less as these years have gone on. I looked at my wife and I was like, I'm tired of Santa coming out with all the cool stuff. All right. Like we gotta talk some restrictions here on how much he gets. But
that's a good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah, because we had the gifts under there, the ones that we just been doing. Because this year we actually got to shop early, and early for us was November. But then you got both my daughters got a bike. We got a dollhouse, but that's big things that you got to keep out in the garage or something. So that's generally the stuff that we say is from Santa or whatnot. But he got 2 more years in this house before he's fully evicted.
Yeah, he gets the credit for the best gifts. That's fun. All right, cool. Well,
all Dad ever gets me are these used action figures.
Well, that's great because my son, he's been getting the little tyke action figures and the more cartoony action figures or whatnot. And this year I really put in work on my Marvel Legends set. I've been messing around with foam core and making debris and a diorama and setting them up on a big display or whatnot. And he's been with me doing it, helping me set up the figures or counting them or watching me build and stuff. And so this year's Christmas list was, little tykes, we're done with all that. I want he went in there, while I was in here working on one of my podcast episodes with my wife, gave her the paper and pen and said, Mommy, write this down. I need that one. I need that one, that one, that one. It was like, dude, those figures are $25 a pop. You're not ready for that, but
How old is he?
Oh, he's 6.
Oh, so he didn't have his own phone to just whip it out and take pictures. I want that one.
No.
I'll text him to you.
I try to fight that phone thing, man. I try to fight that as long as I can. But I ended up, me being the cheapo that I am, I ended up finding some loose and some singles for him to get him started or whatnot. So now he's got his own little shelf that he stacks his figures on and stuff now. Yeah, he's into everything that I'm into.
That's fun.
I like the idea that he's window shopping in your studio.
Yeah.
One day I'll be just like my dad and have toys.
Dude, he's getting good. He recognizes when I get a new figure. I put I forget her name, but she was in the Deadpool movie, the one that blows up stuff. I found her figure for $20. I was super happy that I grabbed her and I put her in there. And a day later, he told my wife, that's one of the new ones that he got. And then that one was new. He knows when I update the MC Legend set.
That's awesome.
You'll have to send us some photos of that if it's okay that we can share out on social. Because I know there's a bunch of nerds like us that love to see those kind of collections.
Dude, I'm all the way up for showing y'all photos of it. I put some little lights in there now for the below ground effect and stuff. So we're in the basement and our bedroom is in the basement. Then there's a big second living room next to it. And then my studio. But we gave our son his own room. So he's down here now. So we moved everything around and we took the second living room as our room. So all my toys are there. So when my wife was suggesting this, I'm like, yeah, I'm good with it. Oh, you want to move there? yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it. So I have this super epic little light display set up on my MC Legend. So I just lay in the bed good night.
Surrounded by all the things that make you happy.
Exactly, man.
Maybe you're like 2020, man. We got to have all of the things to make us happy that we can. So we thought it would be fun to do a geek culture year in review with you. What were some of the high highs and what were some of the low lows as it relates to, for the purposes of our conversation, movies and games and comics. We would love to do some of that with you.
Let's do it. Let's freaking do it. Let's go.
All right, I'll start. So since we're talking about Marvel's Legends, so this is the first year since 2008 we didn't get an MCU movie. Black Widow got pushed, other stuff got pushed. If you want to count New Mutants, that was a Fox project, but it's not the MCU. I mean, I want to know your thoughts on it, but it's not an MCU movie, so it is Marvel, but we're not going to include that for our purposes. So this is the first year without an MCU movie. We know you follow those movies. We talked about it last time. How did that feel for you? If you're anything like me, I think I know the answer, but how did that feel with nothing in the theaters to go watch this year that was MCU?
Dude, it was killing me. It was killing me because this was the year that Disney Plus started.
Yeah.
And at the end of this year, or the beginning of this year, rather, that's when we were supposed to get Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But in the hindsight, at the end of the year, with WandaVision on the corner, around the corner coming out, I think it is the break that MCU needed. I think it is exactly what they needed, because I think we're going to be back in some phase 1 territory, where we're getting a bunch of new properties, and you're going to be looking at some movies like Thor 1, like Cap 1, that weren't, or Incredible Hulk, although I love Incredible Hulk, that weren't celebrated as much, but appreciated for the grander scheme. And I think you're going to get some of that stuff now. But I think that buffer is going to be in place because we've gone like a year and a half without it. So people are going to be like, F it, let's go. Just give me my MCU content. And it seems like MCU has been doing a lot more work than originally suspected, because it just looks like they're about to just drop content all year. And it's going to be like nonstop once it launches.
I think I was really hoping with Disney Plus that they would do that simultaneous release with Black Widow in theaters and on Disney Plus to give us something. Now that we're into 2020 and we haven't got it, it's fine, because they've basically timed it so every new show this year, about every 2 months, you're going to have a new show to watch that's Marvel related. So you're not going to go the rest of the year without watching anything new Marvel if you're keeping up weekly.
Right.
But at the time, I think that's where I was at. Like, at least give us Black Widow. Like, throw it in theaters and give us Black Widow a couple months later. Now, did you watch New Mutants?
I did watch New Mutants. I did. That was one of the.
Based on the reaction, give us the tweet version of your review. What's your tweet review of New Mutants? I didn't see it.
Gutter trash. Like man, I went in that movie being hopeful, wanting to like it very much, and giving it the Fox chance. But the more I thought about it, the more it replayed in my head, the more I disliked it. Like, I can't. I'm terrible with names. But girl, that was the doctor that uses the force fields. I was like, are you serious? She just really died by not using her mutant power. Her mutant power literally saves lives. Oh, I remember this. This happened in X-Men First Class. So we're just going to keep doing this? We're going to keep killing mutants with the very power that can save them. And it's not even like she has to think about it. It's instantaneous. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. She gets in danger, force field comes up. Like, that's your thing.
You had one job.
One job. But I wanted to like it, man. I thought they did some cool things. What made it cool was the little incorporations of the Fox universe that they were adding in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it fell flat.
I never saw it. I was really clinging to all the Fox X-Men universe stuff because it's all we had until the Disney acquisition. And now that there is a bright horizon, just you can almost see the light peeking over, with some of the rumors about Fantastic Four and stuff that's coming in the MCU. I really don't. I had no desire to watch New Mutants. I was like, I'm done with it. I need to see it all rebooted, and I need a fresh start with the mutants. Now, the only DC movie we got was Wonder Woman 84. Did you watch that?
I did watch it. And I surprisingly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It's got its issues. I will admit that. But there are just some things in there I really, really enjoyed. I think Wonder Woman, like, showing her power and showing how, like, awesome she is was like, that was just so dope. Like, they did it a lot in the first movie, but like this one was just like, dude, I'm Michael Jordan. like with everything that she could do with the lasso and stuff. My favorite part was her learning how to fly, and the fact that she learned how to fly from the instructions of a pilot, and she did it, and like you could see her like trying to figure out. I thought that was so dope. And Cheetah, I thought she was hilarious. I thought she was vicious. The fight could have been a little bit better or whatnot, but I hate Wonder Woman 1. I mean, it's got its good parts. I feel like it's a disappointment, but I actually liked Wonder Woman 2.
It's interesting. Initially the reviews were pretty good, and I think the more people that watch it, the less people are enjoying it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it because I did enjoy the first one. I really like I almost said I get all the Chris's mixed up. Is it Chris Pine in it?
Yeah, it's Chris Pine.
Yeah, I really like Chris Pine, so I wanna watch it, and I think she's good in the role, so I'm gonna check it out, but I haven't yet. But that was the only DC thing we got, and all the Marvel stuff is teed up for this year, so it's gonna be an exciting 2021.
Well, actually, we got DC's Endgame, their animated version of Endgame, which was what was the name of it? Dark Avengers. Or no, it was like Dark Justice League or whatever.
Okay.
Where it was the animated joint, and it really was like the culmination of all their animated films up until this point, and literally it was their version of Endgame. It was one of the dopest animated features that we got. Like they just went all in.
I just saw somebody commenting that if they would let the writers for the animated movies restart the DC live action universe, they'd be a lot more successful.
They would be
because
all the way.
Seem to love the animated stuff, and it totally slipped my mind because DC's not on my radar enough to like dive into the animated films. So I'm glad you brought that up because there's probably a lot of people that like superhero content and might not have watched that.
Oh, dude, HBO Max is it's killing it right now with that because they have all their animated movies.
Okay,
they're just all up there. So yeah, you can watch all that stuff, and that person's absolutely right. If they would just take their animated films and just shot for shot, line for line, did it in live action, they would be on par with Marvel, or they would surpass them because their animated movies are amazing.
There's been stuff written about why DC studios can't seem to figure it out with the live action stuff. What do you think it boils down to? Too many execs getting in the way? Like, I know they're not as mature as a studio as Marvel is, but like, you've got some really stellar licenses that you could do some amazing things with, and it just seems like they can't get their storytelling in order.
It's actually, for me, it is their long history of movie making that is getting in their way. Warner Brothers Studios owns DC, so they make all the decisions for DC, and they have a formula and they know how to make movies. They've been around damn near 100 years. There are tons of Warner Brothers films that we love and are classics, and they're trying to apply that to their comic book movies.
And it's not the same formula.
It's not. And then the reason the MCU is so successful is because Kevin Feige and the people that started the MCU worked at the comic book. They worked at Marvel.
Right.
They were editors. They were writers for Marvel Comics. So they truly understand these characters, and they know how to flip these characters for a different medium. When you make a movie about a tree, a raccoon, and two aliens and a human, and I fall in love with these characters when I can give two craps about them in a comic book, you know how to make them for mainstream media because you have written these characters, you've been with these characters. Now take note, of course they got execs now, they answer to Disney now and stuff like that, but Disney didn't buy Marvel to fix it. They bought Marvel because it was already making money.
Right.
Like it's already making money from them. They want to buy something that they don't have to, like, I'm sure they have their say. I'm sure they step in and say this or that, whatever, but it's a proven property. It's a proven IP.
All right. Same with what they did with the Pixar acquisition. Only Disney Animation Studios wanted to learn from Pixar. So it was like a respect acquisition, not like we're gonna throw our weight around and tell you what to do.
Exactly. And I can't fault Disney for that, man. People make fun of them and think they're the terrible overlords and stuff. And they may be, but they're making killer business decisions. They have their monopoly, and I'm happy that they own some of this stuff because I'm getting plenty of content.
Mike, don't you know that those are just cash grabs? Don't you know?
Yeah. They're just
Don't you know that that's all that is?
everything that you just talked about was nothing more than a whole bunch of people just trying to make some kind of product.
Mm.
And the thing is, it's like MSG, man. They're just like they're trying to make it good so that we buy more of it. Like they have the goal to think that I'll spend my money
Right.
on something that I enjoy more readily than something I wouldn't enjoy.
Hey, that's they're just a company that has given us Star Wars, and Star Wars hasn't been around for 30 years with no new content. That's all they did, and everyone's going to complain about it. I'm so happy to get all this Star Wars content. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Come on, man. And I know it's not all perfect, but jeez.
Just yeah, I mean, Star Wars is like, all right, so like our dads, right, geeking out on Star Wars, and then nothing happens for a long time, and then they come out with movies, and then again, and everybody's like, all the Star Wars fans are like, what'd you do? what are you doing? And then nothing, and then okay, and then Disney gets involved, and then Baby Yoda happens, right?
And absolutely.
And the whole world is happy.
It's that simple, man.
Yeah.
I do want to ask though, so 2020 obviously was a heck of a year, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I just went back and rewatched the last two Avengers and Spider-Man Far From Home to kind of get ready for WandaVision and some of the other shows that are coming out. But man, when Chadwick Boseman shows up on screen, those movies feel so different now. After 2020 and him passing away, and we're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff, but I just wanted to ask, because it hit me so much harder rewatching them in the last couple days with him gone. What was your experience like when you got that news, and then to take it to a more fun, upbeat, as fun as an upbeat angle as possible? What would you do with Black Panther to keep the character going? People are talking about Shuri, who takes over. Disney's like, are they going to build out the universe without that character in it? So those are two questions before we hop along to Star Wars and all the other good stuff.
Dude, it sucked. It sucked hearing that news, because Chadwick was like hitting the stratosphere. My man was about to go through the atmosphere and go beyond with his star. Like, he was going so far. And what he brought to the Black Panther character, like, he fit right in, dude. He was on par and on level. He was on the same level as Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Thor. Like, his character fit. He was a perfect match for that. So that's why that hurts. But then to find out that he was sick this whole time, and he was still doing all that work, and he was still doing volunteer work, and he was still going out to hospitals to see other kids. It's just like, dude, are you just like, you're just this ultimate human being? Like, how amazing are you to still do this work and still do that and like still make these movies and everything? It sucks. I did a chat and draw episode where, I talked about Chad and I drew a Black Panther piece or whatnot. And I know he is more than the Black Panther role, but for a ton of people, they met Chad through Black Panther, and Black Panther has become a huge iconic character, like, for people because of this movie, because of his portrayal. He officially, like, all respects to Black Panther. He's a very popular main character in comics or whatever, but he broke mainstream when Chad took this role. And, all types of kids, all kids of all colors are running around in Black Panther costumes. I see a Black Panther costume, I don't know what kind of kid's going to be under there. And then I'm just giddily surprised when I see it, like, that's dope. Good job, kid. Good job, mom and dad. It's just those things, like, they may seem minor, or like some people like, well, that shouldn't matter. Well, still in this day and age, it does. It does. Seeing a Caucasian kid dressed up as Black Panther matters. That's dope. Like, you want to, that just shows that racism is not a thing. It is taught. It is freaking taught, because this kid just looked at this and just said, oh, that's a cool character. He didn't say that's a cool Black character. He just said, that's a dope character and I want to dress up as it. Yeah. So that has a ton of significance. And as far as your second question, this is the one that has me and my wife drawing the line in the sand. Because not to take away any of the significance I just spoke on that Chad brings to the role, but Chad did not bring that character to life for that character to die out. Somebody else needs to be cast in that role. And I have faith that Marvel can do a story worthy of it. Do I think it should be Shuri? Not right now. I think Shuri needs another movie because she was so, and it's a double-bladed sword, but Shuri got some feats, but I don't think she has enough feats because Shuri is not the Shuri that's in the comic book. Shuri that's in the comic book, she's hard-nosed, she's a warrior, she's been chasing after that Black Panther mantle since she knew about it. And she's been going tick for tat with her brothers. That's not the same Shuri. This Shuri is, which is funny to say, is a person of privilege where she's sitting at right now. So I do want Shuri to eventually get it. But the T'Challa character still has so many stories that need to be told, that could be told with T'Challa. I still can't tell you a character that's walked up to Tony Stark and smacked him in his face to make him make sense. T'Challa did that. You know what I'm saying? So Chad broke this role open, and I don't think this character should die out. I think you recast the role with somebody that can carry it on, and you keep it moving. As somebody pointed out, we've had 5 Supermen, we've had 7 Batmans, we've had 2 Hulks, we've had people replace other roles. I just think we need to keep them moving.
Yeah, and even in the MCU, we've recast Rhodey and Bruce Banner. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a major character has been recast.
Exactly.
You know, so I think we can do it, but obviously there's a lot of cultural significance around him and the role and all of it together. And I've heard literally 0 complaints about him as an actor for that role, and that's incredible.
Yeah,
because there's always somebody arguing against a casting decision, and I've heard literally 0 against him.
Yeah, I have not heard any either.
I understand there's a lot of weight there, but I appreciate that, man. It was a whole different experience watching those movies recently with him in there, and I got choked up a little bit when, you know, they go to Wakanda to try to fend off, you know, Thanos, and then he shows up at the end for the battle and Endgame. Man, it was really cool. So what's the next of all the Marvel stuff that's been announced? Because there's been tons of Marvel and Star Wars stuff announced. Of all the Marvel stuff that's like the next phase, what are you most excited for?
Surprisingly, I am most excited for Armor Wars. And I'm just speaking solely on the stuff that was announced within the last couple of weeks, not the stuff that we already knew was coming out.
Right.
Because I was not expecting Rhodey to get his own show. Rhodey had heat in Endgame. He had all the best lines. He was murdering everybody. And I wish they did not cut out his deleted footage because he sent Cap. He was sending Rocket. The man, like when he breaks down and says, Hot Tub Time Machine, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, anything with time in it. It's like, I'm like, he's spitting common sense. These, it is just known. These are rules. Like, it's like he is just crept into that role. Like when he's like, boom, a War Machine story. Like, it's great. Like I want to see Armor Wars. I want to see Rhodey. That's the one I'm most excited about. Because I was like, they're giving Rhodey his own show. It's going to connect to Ironheart, and then it's going to connect to Avengers. Let's go! Like, take the gloves off, man. Just hit them with it.
As if you needed more proof to back up your mantle of the most enthusiastic person in comics. Like, I love the stuff that you've already brought to the conversation. Like when you went back and we talked about like this year and it being a little, you know, there's nothing in the MCU. The point you brought up, I'm like, he's absolutely right. It's perfect. It needed that break. After Endgame was over, we're like, what are they going to do now? It's the perfect way to sort of like give it a little time and restart. The added context you bring to you know, thinking about what's next for Black Panther. I mean, I love chatting with you about this stuff, man, and always have. So I'm so glad you were able to come back. Before we move off of Marvel, I have to echo what you said about Black Panther being a character for all ages and races. My gift to my family this year was that I took their, I guess their personalities, meshed that with their favorite heroes, and meshed that with their hobbies and interests, and I drew a splash cover of all of us as superheroes. And my oldest daughter wanted to be drawn as Black Panther. So
that's what's up.
So
that's what's up.
That's a perfect representation of what you just said. And it's so true. Like, it didn't matter. The people just went, that's a cool character. That's somebody I can get behind. And that's hugely because of Chadwick Boseman, but because of I don't know, just how much thought is baked into that character and what he represents. So that's awesome, man.
That's funny because that's the same thing I started doing with my family. So all my kids are in anime, and there's at least we watch anime all together, different ones, different kids or whatever, but there's always at least one anime that we all watch together and we get into. So whatever that anime is at Christmas, I draw that as the new form of family portrait or whatever. And it was last year it was My Hero Academia, which is still a big one for us. But this year it was Sword Art Online. So I drew us all these characters from Sword Art Online for it.
Nice. That's cool. I was copying you and didn't even know it. We got just a few minutes here before the break. I wanted to touch on your thoughts, continuing to recap 2020 on The Mandalorian. And before we do, I'm going to play your voicemail that you sent to us because it cut you off.
Did it?
Yeah, and you didn't get to complete the thought. So all of our loyal listeners are waiting with bated breath to hear you complete it. So Kendall's going to play your voice message. We're going to watch you react to it and then let you finish the thought.
The season finale of Mandalorian was amazing. It was great storytelling, great character nods, awesome fan service that paid respect to the franchise at the same dang time. And it is also laying down the foundations to what is going on in the current film saga, or the latest one. But it was epic fantastic. I jumped up and down when that X-Wing slid into that ship. Oh, so smoothly. And just walked around cloaked up. And I said to myself, my God, this is not about to be. Yes, it is. It's your boy out here saving lives. The whole thing is just so great. From the cast of characters, like the women that just took that ship with no mess ups, with ease, they took over that ship, and they just look.
What? and then we lost you. So we're gonna take a quick break. Now that we've refreshed your memory, collect your thoughts, and we'll come right back with letting Mike Watson finish his thoughts on The Mandalorian Season 2.
This show is so awesome.
Welcome everybody to the Body Skew Podcast. I am...
Whoa, dude. No. This is our promo, not the show. I'm Rico.
Oh, sorry. I'm CJ, and we're the hosts of the Body Skew Podcast.
We're fans of pretty much anything and everything pop culture, including movies, TV shows, books, video games, comics, music, and of course, Kevin Smith. Now, while we do keep our fingers on the pulse of Silent Bob, he certainly doesn't need our help in promoting him.
You got that right. We do our own thing, with inspiration from the man himself and his mantra of why not. We've got stories about celebrities, we've interviewed theories of our own for certain movies, and we can usually tend to have a great debate about anything.
We also do commentaries on movies. Sometimes we ask our fans what they want to watch with us. So if you love the timbre of our vocal cords and want to watch a movie at the same time, give us a listen.
Stay tuned every Monday, there's always something new. And if you've been good this year, we may even give you a bonus episode from time to time.
So please be good and subscribe to and enjoy Podescue, founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Yeah, man, just those women were just... It's the smoothest takeover of a ship I've ever seen in my damn life. Like there were no mess ups, there was no ego, there was no accidents, there were no damn words. There were and it just flawless. And I mean, there was no fight, and they're already at the deck. You know, they just have it. All right, Mando, you go do what it is you're gonna do or whatever. And then the callbacks that somebody had to point out to me, and I missed the fact that Mando fights with a staff, a harpoon or whatever, and he lost in Game of Thrones. The fact that old girl, I'm terrible with names, but she's one of the bounty hunters with the red hair. The fact that she's stuck on a spaceship with killer freaking robots because she's from Battlestar Galactica. What was the last one? What was the third one? Oh, that Sasha Banks, her idol is Eddie Guerrero, and she does a freaking tornado DDT with her Mandalorian backpack, which is Guerrero's finishing move, which is a tornado DDT. I was like, dude, how dope is that?
I missed that one. Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, the fact that, number one, you wrote this whole damn show, and then you lay out all this stuff, and you give us Luke Skywalker, but the fact that you were considered enough to pay homage to where these people came from and fit it in your story?
Not just fit it in the story, but man, for some of these, like fit it in the story in a big way.
Yeah.
Like let those things, let some of that stuff actually tell the story, affect the story, spend money on set. Like, you know, we're not talking about little nods, man. We're talking about weaving ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I'm assuming you are in the give them the keys to the Star Wars universe camp. Because Favreau and Filoni doing such a great job.
Now, I cannot deny that. They have not missed one hit. They are doing a stellar job. But I want to stand here right now and say it does not take away from my love of The Last Jedi. I think The Last Jedi is freaking amazing. I absolutely love it. And I know a lot of Star Wars people don't agree with it, but that is exactly where Luke Skywalker would be. That is exactly where he would be at this time in his life. And it is killing me that people are saying in Mandalorian, that's my Luke Skywalker. That's the Luke Skywalker I'm waiting for. Well, yeah, that's 30 years ago. That's 30 years ago at his peak level when he was super successful and not festering and seeing how much his family sucks. How much they fall to the dark side. The only person who has not fallen to the dark side, not even blinked at it, is Leia. The story should have been about Leia. And for all you other Star Wars fans, Luke is a Mary Sue, damn it. I still don't understand. I still don't know what the backside of a wop rat, how that qualifies for fighting in a starship. It is not a resume requirement. But you're mad at Rey, who's living on a planet her entire life, fighting for survival, using that bow staff, scavenging, and you're mad that she can use a lightsaber. But Luke, what is a wop rat?
Hey.
Hey, Mike, can you tell us how you really feel? I wish you'd bring some energy and passion.
No kidding. Yeah, somebody wake up Mike.
Look, this is a perfect example of things we've discussed before, though. Because it was in the original trilogy, people will basically chalk that up as flawless. Everything after can only be worse. When that's certainly not true. And things also need some time to breathe. You see a lot more fans of the prequel films now than you did about 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Because those movies have had some time to breathe and people are starting to watch them and see layers of things that they didn't see before. And it's like, okay, some of the writing wasn't great, but George Lucas friggin' knew what he was doing still when he put that trilogy together. Like you can have beefs with things. I'm not talking about that, but like people start to learn and see things with some fresh eyes after time and after they've had given it some time to breathe a little bit. But I think that's great, man. It's totally true. Like people they're just fine with Luke that he can do all those things, but they don't give Rey the same credit. So I think that's an awesome point.
And I'm not saying the new trilogy is perfect. There's definitely things I wanted them to do better in the new trilogy, but Last Jedi is definitely the best of all three of the movies. And Rian Johnson, it hurts me because Rian Johnson really is a fan. Like the attention to detail that he pays to this, and like I saw it, like what he did with Luke Skywalker, that end scene with Luke being the hope and reigniting the fight for the rebellion. And it's like Rian Johnson said himself, yeah, of course I wanted Luke Skywalker to rip Star Destroyers out of space and crush them with the Force and, and destroy all of those AT-ATs. But what do you do after that?
Mm-hmm.
What does he do after that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
yeah, it's like I said, to all the That's not my Luke Skywalker, people. It's like, well, I mean, you can say that if you want, but that makes you no longer a fan of the Star Wars franchise, because the fact is that was your Luke Skywalker.
That's
period. You don't get to say. There are people who got to say, and they said it.
Yeah. I think Luke's progression in the new trilogy is exactly where he would be at a certain point. Yes, he is strong, like he is determined, but after a while you start to get eat up by this stuff, and you just say, like, my family is the problem, us being in the Force is the problem, looks what happened to my father, look what happened to me, look what happened to him. Like, you would start to lose it. Like, nobody's perfect, and you have this perfect infallible character, what's the point?
Yeah, it's a great point. And I think some of why people are responding so positively to The Mandalorian is, while it includes now some bigger characters, it is about all the other things going on that family dynasties aren't affecting, right? And it makes it more tangible and more real, and you can insert yourself into that world. And like I said, I think Favreau and Filoni are doing a great job. I saw a hilarious meme this week that says, it's talking about Favreau, and it says, decides to make a Christmas movie, Elf becomes an instant classic. Decides to make a superhero movie, kicks off the MCU.
Right.
Decides to make a Star Wars show, gives you Baby Yoda, and becomes a cultural phenomenon, right? Just like,
it's ridiculous. My favorite meme from the whole thing is it's a two-part meme that shows what's her name? Anakin's wife dying, Padme dying, and Obi-Wan Kenobi just standing there like this, but then it shows Mando's ship explode, and Obi-Wan's like, no! That's exactly how I felt. Like, when that ship blew up, that was my instant reaction. Like, I jumped up and screamed, no, I cannot believe you did. Damn the baby. I know we're going to get him back. I mean, that ship was disintegrated, man, to its molecules. I was upset because I just saw that Hasbro announce and release their toy for it, that you can start backing for it. If they get enough backers, then they'll make the toy. Oh my God, the detail is so immaculate. And then the next week they blow it up. I was so upset.
Yeah, man, I got the Razor Crest Lego set. I'm wondering if I build it or just pour the pieces out on the ground, make it more realistic. I'm not sure what to even do. I just let the pieces dribble out as I like tip the bag over.
Keep it together, man. Keep it together. That ship is awesome. Oh, I love it.
Awesome. Real quick, definitely, Mike, want to get into sort of the things you're excited about, your personal projects and what you got going on with Chat and Draw. But what's the of all the things that were talked about, we already hit on the Marvel stuff, of all the things that were talked about on Investor Day in the Star Wars universe, what are you most excited about?
Probably for the Star Wars universe. Then that's a lot of cool stuff. But I gotta say, man, I hope to goodness they're still giving Rian Johnson his trilogy. That's what I want to see.
Yeah,
I want to see Rian Johnson create a new Star Wars thing that's not attached to it. I want him to basically make people shut the F up.
Yeah.
Like, don't sleep on me, because I just want to see his vision or whatnot. But if we're not talking about that, I got to say Ahsoka, because I am a huge Rosario Dawson fan, and I think she did an excellent job wielding that lightsaber. I love the fact that I've never seen anybody wield a lightsaber like that. Yeah. I love it, because she's not a Jedi anymore. She's just a Force user. So yeah.
Awesome. So, man, what do you got going on?
I got to say one last thing first.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Cobra Kai?
I haven't watched it yet.
I've seen bits and pieces, man. That's all I've seen.
Dude. Oh my goodness. You got to watch it. Cobra Kai is one of the greatest shows ever, and it is because of its attachment to the movies. I've never seen a show make a comeback and rebirth and be so much better than the original. When we got done with season 3, me and my son were high kicking the walls. We were chopping bricks. The music, It's amazing. Johnny, I absolutely love Johnny. It's as we said the other day on the other show I was on, it's the right amount of cheese. It's like
that's what I was going to ask. Like, is there tongue in cheek moment? Because what you're describing isn't a tongue in cheek thing, and my understanding was that there was some tongue in cheek in it.
There's some tongue in cheek in it or whatever, but man, when they get down and dirty, there's some serious brawls in there. There's some serious animosities in there. The Daniel and Johnny thing, that's a real thing. Like, I know it's made up, but like these are real like feelings that people have in the real world with grudges that go on. And it's the one show that I could say they perfectly explain from each person's perspective why they would feel and act the way they do. Even though you, the audience, know the whole story, you're not yelling at the TV like, no, you don't understand. No, you understand why they're acting the way they are, why they're reacting the way they are. You let it go because it's like, if I was, I'd do that too.
Do I need to go back and watch Karate Kid before I start it?
No, you do not.
Okay.
They do enough of callbacks on it to where you'll be fine. But all you need to know is Daniel was bullied. He kicked some people in the face. He won a tournament. There was a girl involved. He went to Japan. You're good.
Awesome.
Just start watching it, man. It's great. It's my favorite show so far.
Nice. All right, my dude. I'm gonna check it out. All right, the floor is yours, my man. Tell me what you got going on. I know you're excited about some projects.
Oh my goodness. Like, so COVID sucks. But for us people that like to stay in our basements and draw, it did not affect us that much. It hurt my comic book convention aspect because that's like a third of my income. But then I dove into this podcasting thing. So that's helped out. Have not released, didn't get to release anything last year. And the year before, I didn't release anything because I'm also the publisher of Short Fuse Media Group. So we were working on other creatives, getting their Kickstarters and stuff out. So I am coming back to Kickstarter this year, this month, dropping a Kickstarter for my show, Chat and Draw. And I'm very excited about this because we are doing three things. The first thing, hopefully, that we're going to do is expand our audience, get more people on here. I reached out to some YouTube personalities. I've had some fashion people on there. I've got a comic book shop owner that have been on there. So while we feature and talk about comic book creatives, I want to get all types of creatives onto the show, drawing the characters and talking about what they do. The second thing is we're adding new features to the show. We're doing a new show intro. We're doing sizzle reels. And when I say sizzle reels, we are doing WWE style introductions for the creatives. So that is a feature on the Kickstarter that you, once you buy your slot, actually I'm selling all the slots on there. So I'm doing the regular black and white digital art that I do, the full color art that I do. And this time I'm at a third feature of versus. So I will bring a creator on there and another creator, and I will draw both your characters fighting while you debate live on which character will win. But the audience of Chat and Draw will say, nah, this guy's right. I like what he said. I like what she said. They win the fight. So I think that's a different way to get people interacting and talking about their characters and, trying to win a battle while I draw it live. The third thing is that I'm going to be releasing art books. So we're coming up on the 100th episode this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time on my Twitch, YouTube, and all that stuff. And I'm doing 3 art books: season 1, season 2, and season 3. Fully colored, all the pictures from Chat and Draw, all 100 episodes. Each book is going to be 60 plus pages of content that you guys can get a hold of. And we're doing some sketch covers for some of them, for those true collectors out there or whatnot. And just doing a lot of different things with the Kickstarter. I'm real excited about it. It will be dropping this month. So all you have to do is, I can actually send you guys the link so you guys can post it with your
absolutely
video. But just look up Chat and Draw 100 episodes on Kickstarter and click the follow button so you can find out when it actually does launch. The budget is really small, but we're hoping to blow it up with getting many more people on here because I got about 35 slots available just through Kickstarter that you can get. So you can sign up for your spot on Kickstarter. And you're going to get copies of the art book. You're going to get extra content and things like that. You'll get special featured on the show or whatnot. So I'm going to have those 35 slots just for Kickstarter, but then I'm also going to be taking other people for season 4. So I plan on I was doing 2 days a week. So I'm probably going to go to 3 days a week on the new show. And that's what I got going on with that. And Chat and Draw is going to be the start of what I'm calling the assault of Mike Watson. Freestyle Komics, short fuse media group. We have a ton of content coming out. I'll also be releasing, after Chat and Draw, the Hot Shot Trade Volume 1, Hot Shot Trade Volume 2, one of our new issues of, I haven't decided which one's coming next, but they're both done. Zero Event number 1 or Emerald Quest number 1. And I've just finished the pencils for Hot Shot 10, and I'm knee deep into the pencils of Hot Shot 11. So we're going to be bringing that out as well. And we still have 5 other comic books that are completely done that we're releasing in 2021.
Dude, that is a lot, and that is awesome. But we gotta slow down to speed up for some of our listeners, because you've probably inferred, but Michael is a comic book creator. He has his own studio, Hot Shot's the character, Freestyle Komics, and he's hosting this show, Chat and Draw. I've already watched it, but for the folks that haven't watched it, spell it out. Like, what does the show function like? You have a guest on, they're a creator, they talk about their characters that they've created, and while they're talking about it, you draw their character, right?
Yes, I draw their character up live. Actually,
and you guys chat. You have an informal chat. You draw while you talk. How's that going to work for folks that are not content creators, who are doing different types of things? What are you going to do there?
Well, for example, I had Inevitably Dope on our show. He's got about 300,000 followers on YouTube and 200,000 on TikTok. And what this guy does is he just is an announcer for anime. He just takes anime clips and announces them and just says the funniest stuff. Like, and it's like stuff that you like, dang, like you think that in your head. It's just spot on funny.
Yeah.
And I asked him to be on the show, and what I did was turned him into an anime character.
Okay.
Naruto. He's a huge fan of Naruto, so I turned him into a Hidden Leaf Ninja. But then that actually turned into using that content for his T-shirt line. So I've designed about 4 or 5 T-shirts with him on the show. I've had a comic shop owner come on, and I've turned her. But she also had a comic book. But I'm having Black Star, the owner of Black Star Collectibles, come on, and I'm going to take his Black Star logo, and I'm going to turn that into a comic book character.
Nice.
So just messing around with things like that. And if it's just a person that like has a novel or something, or just YouTube famous, I'll turn them into a comic book character, anime character, a villain, or something like that, while talking about what it is to do. I can, if you guys actually give me screen share access, I can show you some of the stuff in Chat and Draw that'll be in the books. Let's see here.
I love the idea of the battle between 2 folks. That reminds me of the card game Super Fight, where you have to like convince the rest of the table why your character would win.
Oh, okay.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's gonna, because there's a lot of creators that are talking about their comic book characters and put them in scenarios of who win. I'm like, all right, well, put your money where your mouth is, man. We'll bring you on the show. Here's another creator. Here's the 2 characters. Talk about your feats. Talk about your powers, the origin of your character. Because we want to promote both of y'all. Now you get to go first. What would your character do against that character? How would your character win? You get to go next. And all right, crowd, by the time the piece is done, who do you think won? Creator A or creator B?
Yeah.
That's cool.
While you're drawing up the whole thing.
Yeah.
So are you drawing the battle when that happens?
Yes, I'm drawing the battle.
Yeah.
All right. For those of you that are only listening, Michael is now sharing his screen. He's got obviously tons of killer art. Nice.
This is Kara Nicole, her character. Drew her. She was actually on the show earlier today with me. She actually has a Kickstarter going right now. Her character is a very sensual character. It's always fun to draw because she has tons of art like that. So I try to draw a character with more of an attitude, more of a pop, and some life besides just the sexy aspect of it.
Right.
Yeah.
This was a character that we had on. This is actually a character reveal. So people have used my show to reveal brand new characters. And this character from Wildcard Chronicles. This is dreadlocks. This was a fun one to do. I've found a new appreciation for drawing dreadlocks. And,
I have a story about that.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome story.
So we're in college. I'm a few years younger than Mike, and he has this splash page. It's like 2 full-size pages, and he knew I was pretty good with my line work and inking. So he's like, "Hey, why don't you ink this splash page for me?" And the superhero team was called the Dreaded, and every character had dreadlocks.
Yes, they did.
And
Yes,
that took me 78 years to complete.
But man, it is absolutely gorgeous. I never got that thing colored. It's just black and white on my wall. I love it.
Cool. Glad to hear you didn't finish it. Moving on.
I've had somebody color it, but it was not good. And it made me sad. It just didn't meet the level. Veronica Smith is willing to color it, but I've got her so bundled down with projects since she's come on board.
Gotcha.
A good colorist is hard to find, man. And
I hear you.
And Veronica's coloring like 6 projects for us right now.
Nice. All right, keep going. Sorry, I had to tell that.
Oh no, you're fine.
Story.
But like, so each of these, these are the black and white versions I do on the show. I've done a couple color versions. So each one of these are going to be colored in the art book or whatnot.
And just to make it explicit again, like Michael is drawing these as these guests are talking about their original characters. I love that it's like interview show meets geeking out on art and comics meets like why these characters would win in a fight. It's like, it feels like you're meshing Joe Rogan with Super Fight with like artist versus cartoonist and that YouTube channel. And I just love it, man. I think you're doing some great things.
Oh, thank you very much. This is like a quick video of me drawing today, like from start to finish. So one of the reasons I wanted to do the show is to push me to draw things that I don't normally draw, or to draw a bunch of things that I feel like I'm weak in and can be stronger in, or not, and put me on the spot. So I'd have to follow through on it. And guns, I hate drawing guns, and I think my women need work. So I've drawn plenty of women, females on the show, and a lot of guns have come through. And drawing this stuff digitally has really given me the chance to get very comfortable with the iPad. I love it. This digital art thing that's where it's at, man. But
well, we're gonna gain a whole bunch of new subscribers by using the hashtag Chicks with Guns.
That's a good one. It's always hard to figure out which hashtags to use to push things. That's a good one. I should have used that one. Shoot.
But yeah, the digital drawing, man, is awesome. My work, Michael, you'll appreciate this. My work just sent me the Cintiq Pro 32.
Oh my God.
So I'm trying to get used to that and the ergonomic stand and everything. It's a game changer, but man, there's still a lot you can do with a good old iPad and Procreate. I mean,
oh yeah. Procreate, like the full version being $13.
Yep.
$13. I only use Photoshop for text.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And I know that's a sin too, but I'm used to using Photoshop for graphics and stuff like that. I do all of my drawing here. My comic book pages, Hotshot 10, layouts, drawing and inking, all in Procreate.
That app that's an app for those of you that don't know. It's
yeah.
it's a game changer. It's completely changed everything for creatives and folks who use it to draw.
Yeah, man. You can't shake a stick at that $13 price. That's like, and it has a perspective tool in it, which I'm still trying to figure out because that's like a whole nother thing. Plus, there's a bunch of free brushes that you can download and add on to it. That's a whole nother rabbit hole I haven't gotten a chance to dive into because I'm still trying to get comfortable with finding my style with it drawing. But yeah, it's a game changer, like you said.
If folks were going to dive into an episode of Chat and Draw, which has been you've done almost 100 episodes now, which would be a good one for folks who maybe don't appreciate the depth of comics like you do? Which would be a good one to start with?
Oh, I would say the episode with Inevitably Dope, ID. That episode was really funny because we talk about anime and manga and movies and stuff on there. A lot of times we do talk about we probably talk about that person's comic book character for about the first half an hour. or whatnot. Then the second half, because the show can go from an hour to an hour and a half, but then we do end up breaking off into some geek conversation about movies and anime and things like that as well. So it's a pretty diverse conversation. So, but I think the ID episode, because he's just hilarious, and we talk about a ton of movies and anime and video games.
Awesome. We will definitely share links to all the things you just mentioned. But one more time, what's the best way for people to sort of find you on social and all these things you've mentioned?
Oh, the best way to find me would be Most Epic Art. I am on all social media as Most Epic Art, TikTok, Patreon, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Awesome. We will definitely do that. And be sure to send us those links and let us know when your Kickstarter launches so that we can make our listeners a part of it.
I actually just sent it to you.
Perfect, man. You are on it. Speaking of comics, and another thing that happened in 2020, something I've been following the fan art of is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles project called The Last Ronin.
Yep.
And there's a lot of chatter about this. I'm probably going to butcher the context, but basically 3 of the turtles have died.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one left that's going to avenge their death, but we don't know who it is. I think we actually do now.
Yeah, we do now.
But tell us about it. I know you read the first book, and I know the original turtle authors are involved. So tell us a little bit about that.
So it's a story that they had for a while that they never ran with, and now for whatever reason they're running with it now. Yeah, whatever. I think it's a dope idea that all the turtles get killed and one is left. And the thing is, this turtle goes crazy mentally. He is still talking to his brothers, like all 3 of his brothers are in his head, which adds to the fact that you don't know which one it is or whatnot, because this turtle has been so drastically changed by the death of all 4 of them. They came out with a ton of covers, but I think the one by Sean Murphy is the one with him on the motorcycle with the building in the background is my absolute favorite cover. That's actually my cell phone cover right now. It is gorgeous. There's some on the roof. Just the costume design of this character is fantastic, and it works because it's a giant turtle, but underneath all that you can't see that. You just see this dope character that's coming to kill you. And apparently the future is real messed up. The city of New York has walls around it or whatnot. And this turtle has to sneak in to New York to go after his vengeance or whatnot. And he gets in there, pulls off some pretty cool moves. The artwork is really dope too. And yeah, that's it. Look, man, look. That is pretty.
Yeah.
That is pretty.
So he's carrying the weapons of all of them.
Yes.
And we don't know who it is.
He's actually got a black bandana, and he's carrying all the bandanas as well, and all their weapons. And some of the weapons are broke. But I had an idea before it came out. I pitched it. I put it online. If it's not this turtle, then the story is complete trash. Because the only way that this story is going to have impact is if it's this turtle. And it is that turtle. So I was very happy that they went in that direction. Are we doing spoilers? Because I have a story that goes with it.
This is their official warning. We're going to spoil it now that we will tell you who the turtle is.
Yes, you've been warned. All right. So it's Michelangelo. It's freaking amazing that it's Michelangelo, because I just started getting back into the actual turtle books, and they're so far in the story. At a certain segment, Splinter takes over the Foot.
Oh,
he's the leader of the Foot, and so he's kind of separated himself from the turtles. And, they still talk to him and things like that. And they've got these orphan kids that they found, and Splinter takes the kids. And Michelangelo's like, "Why? You don't know. I don't want them being the Foot." And Splinter's like, "I'm going to train them. I'm going to raise them just like I did you, and they'll be in the Foot." Well, the other 3 brothers are all like, okay. They're uncomfortable with it, but they're listening to him because that's their dad. Michelangelo's the only one's like, "Nah, B, that's not going to work for me. Not at all." And Splinter's like, "Yeah, you need to know your role. You're my son. I'm the leader of the Foot. This is what it's going to be." And Michelangelo gets up, and the other turtles are like, no, dog, you got to calm down. And Mikey's like, no. And then he fights Splinter, like a full-fledged fight, like no holds bars. He's going toe-to-toe with his teacher, his daddy, full fight back. Like there's no jokes, there's no comical quips. It is just nunchucka going at it. And you know, they have beef. Like Splinter isn't mad at him, he understands. So he's like, I'm gonna let this pass this one time or whatnot. And ever since I saw that comic book, and then the idea of the Last Ronin came up, I was like, it has to be Michelangelo. It has to be Michelangelo. Raphael is way too obvious. They just killed Donatello, so they did a whole story with him, and nobody cares if it's Leonardo. So it has to be Michelangelo.
I think that's such a cool concept. How many books are going to be a part of the series? Do we know?
I think they said 5.
5 books?
Yeah.
I heard that concept. I saw some of the fan art, and I was like, man, I got to get myself to a comic book store.
Yeah, it's good. Like, just that whole scheme and the idea of it, of Michelangelo being broken, Michelangelo being crazy, and still talking to them. Like, dude, it's sad. It's so sad. But it's a good story. They're doing good things with the Turtles in the comics. Like, these are the type of stories I wish the cartoon would do instead of rebooting a cartoon every 5 years for a new generation of kids.
Right.
Dude, like, kids watch grown-up stuff all the time. They watch anime stuff all the time. Like, if you like Avatar and Korra, they deal with adult material and kids don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally being educated about race, religion, culture, diversity, sex, gender. They're being educated about all that stuff in this cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's so well written, it's good. It passes. You can do the same thing with the Turtles. We need to see the Turtles grow. We need to see the Turtles not be teenagers and see what happens when they get past Masters, Splinter, get past Shredder. Like, how do these characters develop into something else? Not rebooting a cartoon every 5 years, and then, like, just because you're getting tired of it, let's make Raphael the leader. Let's make them these real quirky ninja powers that are electrocuting out of the weapons. Like, stop it.
Yeah,
stop it. And it sucks because that cartoon is actually the newest Turtles one is actually the best animated version of the Turtles that we've ever gotten. But to me, I can't get past the art direction or the concept of how they're brought together.
Yeah. Well, I knew you were a big Turtles fan, so I had to get your thoughts on that. I'm going to pass it off to my co-host because I could just chat with my college buddy all day long. What do you guys want to ask Mike about Chat and Draw, about geek culture, all of it? We got a few minutes left.
This ain't my world, man.
Yeah, and
I'm with you on the Star Wars stuff, and I'm actually close to with you on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, man, the rest is the Marvel conversation. Like, I've seen literally none of those movies.
well, forget that because that'll be around forever. You need to jump on Cobra Kai. That's what
I'm with you on Cobra Kai. Like, I'm excited about Cobra Kai now. I mean, I was excited before, but
and the 3rd season just dropped. I mean, we watched it in a day. Like, we couldn't stop.
Did you?
Me, my wife, me, and my son. Boom. We just, before we knew it, it was 1:00 and we were on the last episode, and me and my son were kicking boards. Like, we were doing it.
I'm excited. I tried to get my oldest boy to watch the newer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle animation with me, and I think he got like 2 episodes in, and he was done. He was over with, because that was what, like, it for me, like, it that was, as a kid growing up, man, that's where I was. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And so I was like really excited to get into this, and I loved your point of man, can we see one of these stories of them continue just once, and I'm totally with you there.
I mean, even if you make another cartoon on like a continuation of that story of them growing, but then you reboot it for the kids, like, no one's gonna be confused by that. Like, like, satisfy both of them. Like, I don't understand why you couldn't do that. Or if you want to still, like, rebrand the franchise and stuff, then make us an animated cartoon that isn't based off of toys. Like, I don't need toy sales for it, but you can show us that you can experiment and show the growth of Turtles. Like, like you guys, they all say, well, we're marketing this for kids. Well, you're marketing it to kids, but we're the ones with the money. And we were the kids that brought this stuff to fruition that made everybody love it. So you're marketing it to us. So stop saying that. Like completely stop saying that, because I don't buy that anymore. Because my kid watches what I watch. My kids like what I like. Yeah, they find their own stuff or whatnot. But we're the gatekeepers. We're the one introducing them to this world and showing them all this stuff.
Do we know so you mentioned that the original writers are going to be involved in this new thing coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Have they been involved in any of the more recent stuff?
No, not
like when was the last time that they were? So the original film, right? And which is what sort of started everything for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles outside of the comic book world.
I don't think they've been involved in anything that deals with the cartoons, anything that deals with the the movies. They might have like called them up and said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Like a George Lucas type of thing. But I know they've got more feedback in the comic books than they have in the movies. Or whatnot.
I saw them at the Comic-Con San Diego. They're one of the few online things that I clicked into and watched, and which I thought was fascinating. And just listening to those guys like look back on their work and still how excited and passionate they are about this old movie now, and was my blood was pumping and I was getting really excited about things there, and to see this conversation now go full circle with the whole idea of man, let's get the right people in there writing these things and getting behind these worlds, and let's stop just assuming that we know how to make a movie. Let's get the actual creators involved again. And so I think that's a huge step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Absolutely.
I'm Midnight Agent Raw. And I'm Okami. We are the Super Media Bros podcast. And each week, we give a comedic take on all forms of entertainment, such as movies, music, video games, television, and much more. So put your shades on and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Shades on. We're off.
Okay, so I had a thought on the Turtles thing and then a follow-up question as well for you, Mike. So my thought is, as we're discussing the Turtles and we deserve something where they're older and we get to see more of the story, like, look, 6 companies, I'm going to make up a number, but like half a dozen companies own all the media in the world. So I'm like, so somebody owns Turtles that has a streaming platform, and a quick Google search says Nickelodeon owns them, and Viacom CBS owns Nickelodeon. So guess who has their own streaming app that they could deliver something like that? And it's friggin' CBS.
They do, the Peacock app.
NBC's Peacock, right?
Oh, I thought that was CBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, so CBS has CBS All Access. And so that got me thinking, we've seen darker Star Trek. I've not watched any of the CBS All Access. I am a Trek fan, but I've not seen any of the Trek on CBS yet. So you've got a darker Trek series, and they're making an animated kid show of Star Trek as well. That's meant to be more like the Noggin PBS type Star Trek. So nothing stops them from making an exclusive behind the paywall Turtles thing that they could develop those characters further in a series. And honestly, I kind of almost expect it now that I'm realizing CBS owns it, because that would give them some content behind a paywall that people would be seeking out. So I wouldn't be shocked if in the next year or two CBS announces, not necessarily that the Turtles will be older, but some kind of maybe slightly darker series that would be not just for kids, but more for adults. But that led to this question. I know where I stand. Would you care at all if they made a darker series that was animated or live action? Like, would it really matter to you which it was?
No, just give it to me.
Right, exactly. That's exactly how I would feel about something like that. Like, if you want to make a mini series that's darker, or you do like the Netflix, like 10 episodes a season, or the Disney Plus 10 episodes a season, it's all animated. We watch them grow up there. DC does plenty of darker content that's animated, that's for adults. Like, there's no reason CBS couldn't build something like this, and we're going to tag them on the social media post. If they've not had this idea yet, people need to jump in and be like, yeah, friggin' CBS, give us something like that.
Like the Turtles 90s movie is still classic. That still holds up. That still holds up today.
There's people quoting it today. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you can absolutely do a darker live action. I mean, if the Teen Titans and what is that other, whatever other show is on HBO Max for DC, if all of those can get live actions, we can do a Ninja Turtles live action, or we can do an animated one. Like,
and it doesn't even matter. Like, the fans that would want to see that series the most, like, show us the Young Turtles in season 1, and then 5 years later show them a little older, and then older and older. Like, all the people that would want to watch that anyways won't care if it's animated. Yeah. If it's live action, great. If it's animated, great. You wouldn't have to do it. All you have to do is say, like, this is a continuation from the 2005 Ninja Turtles CGI cartoon, but it's 10 years later, and we're doing it on CBS All Access. They would flock. Yeah. They would flock there. Yep. And I think that would be another, with them already owning Star Trek, and let's be honest, there's probably some overlap between Trek fans and Ninja Turtles fans. Like, there's a safe assumption there that we're nerds. At least
listen,
I like both.
I overlap. I'm part of that overlap of Star Trek and Ninja Turtles. And guess what? I don't even overlap between Ninja Turtles and Marvel.
Look at that. So there's enough nerds that would watch whether it's live action or animated or continuation, or they reboot it, but it's just kind of more adult themed as far as like it's R-rated. I don't know. It's there. CBS, do something with it. We'll watch it. Yeah. Maybe I'd actually sign up for your service to watch some Star Trek and some Ninja Turtles. But I had that thought as you were talking about it. I'm like, somebody somewhere owns it and already has an app and a platform to hide it behind if they don't want kids watching because it is darker. Exactly. Like, Disney's hiding Deadpool in Hulu. Like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. That is so funny. I typed in my Roku app Hulu, Deadpool, and like I see it's free to watch on Hulu. I'm like, what the heck? Deadpool 1 and 2, and I watched it yesterday. Yeah. It is hitting there. Yeah, it's exactly. Well, that's when Disney bought the majority stake in Hulu. That's what they said they were going to do. They're going to hide all the darkest Fox content and the darkest stuff from their catalog. They're going to bury in Hulu. Now, there's rumors that they might pull it back to Disney Plus and make like on the adult profiles only. There'd be a Fox channel, but they don't want Deadpool sitting in Disney Plus where kids can see it. So it's fine. Like, just bury content or make it very clear in Disney Plus. This is the Fox channel. You're getting out of the happy Pixar, whatever world. Like, you're choosing to go into Fox, and there's going to be Alien and Predator and Deadpool and whatever other stuff, that New Mutants and whatever other stuff they're hiding.
The proverbial back room of the blockbuster.
You put one of those little message screens when you click over it. This is adults, blah, 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 blah. 18 and over, or 16 and over, or whatnot. That's easy. That's
exactly right. Like, hey, you're leaving Disney Plus to enjoy the Fox channel. Like,
I don't know if the computer people would be able to figure out how to make that.
But it would be enough to figure out for Turtles. And I thought if CBS has got it, it's up to them to decide to do it or not. So at least now we know who to pester on social media.
We're coming up with all kinds of ideas, and I think I'm most excited about the Disney Plus speakeasy, where a guy has a little sliding door that goes, "What's the password?"
Yeah, like you have to click on the top window of the castle.
No, dude, I want that to actually be an app in Disney Plus. Like Jiminy Cricket or whoever slides open, you click on it, he slides open the door, password, and it's the password the parents have to type in. And like,
I think
they don't make it like Hades from Hercules or something like that. I'm super disappointed.
No, they totally need to like make put a little Jiminy Cricket somewhere on the home screen. Then you've got the Disney logo somewhere on the home screen. And then you have to drag Jiminy Cricket to a window to the right window of the castle.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I love it.
Hey, Mike, you got some pretty exciting news during the break.
Yeah, during the break, man, like it just popped up. They announced how many episodes WandaVision's going to be. I thought it was just going to be 6 episodes, but we're getting 9 episodes for WandaVision.
So
at least half an hour show. And Disney Plus has been doing with their shows. they'll make the show as long as it needs to be, or the episodes as long as it needs to be to tell the story. Like Mandalorian was 30 minutes, 41 minutes, 52 minutes, 35 minutes, but it stayed at 8 episodes. So that's I can't wait. And for those of you that may not know, like I got my ear to this MCU, man. WandaVision is the beginning of what it will immediately transpire in Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness, because WandaVision is the corruption and falling of Wanda, and she becomes the villain in the Multiverse of Madness. And then it finishes and picks up in Spider-Man 3, which is why all these characters are in Spider-Man 3. So we're talking about 4 or 5 movies in one story arc. Like, this is crazy, man. I can't wait.
We need to do that. Have you tried the Disney Plus group watch feature?
We should do that. I would love to do that with y'all. I would love to do that with y'all. Disney Plus just did their update, or I didn't notice it, but they finally put the movies for MCU in order of like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then gave you the chronological watch order.
Yeah,
I'd love to do that with y'all.
I think the group watch sounds really fun, especially if you're texting. And like if I was messing around with it on a couple different devices and the Apple TV and stuff at my house.
Sounds like something you do, yeah.
It catches you up. Like it makes sure you don't. Oh, I'm a huge nerd. Of course I would. Like it'll catch you up. So like if your internet messes up or something on one device, it'll make sure you're right where everyone else is. So that if you're texting about it or whatever. So I think it's kind of fun. We might have to do that for one of these shows, or maybe like WandaVision finale, the final episode or something would be fun. We're gonna have to do this, man. Oh, Kendall won't be able to. He won't have Disney Plus anymore, but
I still have it as of now, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sorry, Dylan. It's just that I've got the visual in my head. Honey, what are you doing? I'm trying out the new group watch thing on Disney Plus. Oh, who are you doing it with? I don't want to talk about it.
You know what? That
Leave me alone.
Your retelling is 100% accurate as to and I don't even care. I'm not even upset about it, and I'm not offended at all. Like
I'm with you. I understand what's going on there. I want to see how it works, and I want to see if I can. What happens if I do this?
Well,
very smart, Disney.
I had practical questions, and I was too lazy to Google FAQ. So I'm like,
I dig it.
Can somebody else watch on their iPad if I'm on my Apple TV, or is it only going to sync like iOS or mobile devices? So like I wanted to test it and see, and you can absolutely do it from different devices. It'll sync it all up. It was fun. It was cool to play with. But yeah, I'm so excited for WandaVision and all the stuff coming this year, man.
And I love seeing how excited Mike just got when you proposed that idea, like a little kid.
Okay, let's watch. Let's watch
some
Disney together.
I love it.
We've all been in our houses for a really long time.
Like, there is that. But then at the same time, like this show is really cool because like this is one of the best, most casual geek laid back conversation spots that I've been on as a podcast. And like I was telling Corey on the break, like, man, like the time just flew by. Like I mean, I can sit here and talk to you guys all freaking night about this stuff. It's just like it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have any superpowers of seeing the future, but I don't imagine this is the last time we hang out with the most enthusiastic person in comics. Michael, thank you for chapter 2. It's been fun hanging out with you, my man. Best of luck with your campaign. I know that you're going to hit your goal and go beyond. After I go get some Last Ronin books, I'm going to go back it. It's been great having you on. I know you're going to get a bunch of new supporters. Thank you guys for listening. Anything else you want to say?
Oh no, man. It's been a blast. Thanks for having me, giving me the platform to speak, and just having a good old-fashioned geek conversation, man. I appreciate it very much.
And what was your social handles one more time?
Most Epic Art on all social media platforms.
Perfect.
All right, folks. This has been episode number 83 with Michael Watson. Have an awesome week, and we will catch you next Wednesday on From the Middle. God bless.
Later.